So what is going on, guys? My name is Zero and welcome to Rocket Arena. I want to say a big thank you to Electronic Arts for sponsoring this video, but honestly, I absolutely love this game and cannot wait to play it once it does release tomorrow, July the 14th on Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. Now, if you don't know what Rocket Arena is, it's a third-person shooter with a little bit of a twist. On your average shooter game, you will shoot at your opponents, reducing their health and therefore defeating them. In Rocket Arena, when you hit your opponent with your rockets, you're actually going to fill up something called a blast meter. The further this meter fills up, the further you can knock the opponents back. And your objective is to knock them out of the arena. Now, like I did mention, the game is coming to Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and also PC, but it's also going to be including crossplay, so you can play with all of your friends across all of those different platforms. And I thought for my first video on Rocket Arena, it would be good to tell you guys what's special about the game. So I'm going to be breaking up today's video into 5 different parts. The first part of the video, we're going to be taking a quick look at all of the characters you're going to be able to play at launch. The second part, we're going to be taking a quick overview at the multiplayer maps. The third part is going to be taking a look at all of the different game modes that we have in Rocket Arena. Part 4 is going to be taking a look at artifacts, which are a key point of Rocket Arena to mix up your playstyles and give you an advantage over your opponents. And the final thing we're going to take a look at in today's video is going to be for the competitive players watching this video, because ranked play is coming to Rocket Arena as well. So first of all, let's take a look at all of the characters that you're going to be able to play on July the 14th. We'll have 10 characters that will be playable at launch, and each of these characters has their own unique abilities and also their own unique rockets. Each one of these characters has 100 levels of progression, so you can unlock various different rewards as you level up these characters, including cosmetics and much, much more. I also want to mention that there's going to be an 11th character coming to the game on July the 28th for free to every single player in the game. Her name is Flux. She's absolutely adorable. And just like the other characters, Flux will come to the game with 100 levels of progression rewards that you can unlock as you play as that character. I was able to get some early gameplay of Flux, so I'll probably have a video covering her a little bit later today or tomorrow, so make sure to keep an eye out on the channel. So we're not going to go into huge amounts of detail about all of the characters just yet. I'll probably do a dedicated video for every single character. However, the first character we're going to be taking a look at is Amphora, who's definitely one with the ocean. She can charge up her primary attack to increase the speed and damage of it. She can also send out 3 bouncing and homing mines into the battlefield. And she can also turn into like a weird pool of water, which is also some kind of water creature. She can then reactivate the ability and send her opponents into the sky inside of a water cyclone. Next up, we have Jato, and this will probably be the first character you're introduced to in the game, especially if you do play the tutorial. And he's kind of like your all-around average character, although he's still very effective. His primary weapon fires out single rockets, but they are fast and accurate. His first ability is called Rocket Swarm, where he'll swarm a lot of mini rockets at your opponent. They're not homing though, so you will need to aim. And his second ability is called Thruster Suits, which will temporarily boost his mobility and Sky Piercer rockets. Next up, we have Izel, which is one of my favorite characters in the game at the moment. I love the way she looks. However, she does have a spear rocket for her primary weapon, which is a quick firing and short-ranged attack. She also has something called a Bowler Snare, where it will actually pull opponents towards you if you hit them directly, but also the next spear rockets will home towards the opponent that was hit as well. And it's also going to give increased damage as well, so that ability you can use in multiple scenarios. And her third ability is called Jaqua Charge, which is the ability that I really like. You can hold and aim before ferociously lunging forward. Once we get into game mode, you'll understand why that ability can be very, very effective. Our next character we're going to be taking a look at is called Plink, who's, I'm going to say maybe like a 12-year-old boy, something like that. But he's very, very smart. He can actually make rockets out of any piece of junk. Hence the name of his primary weapon, Scrap Rockets, which is short-ranged but rapid-fired homing rockets. His first ability is also called Boomerang, which can ricochet off walls before returning. This can hit players on the other side and damage them, but also you can collect item crates from a distance as well, which can give you various upgrades and speed boosts and things like that. So being able to get them before an opponent or being able to reach them from distance can be very effective. And his second ability is called Skiaddle Ball, where you can throw out a teleporter in any random direction, press the ability again to teleport to its location, and also damage nearby opponents. Our fifth character we're taking a look at today is Kai, who is actually a Frost Princess. Her primary weapon is called Charged Bolt, where you can have a precise bolt, and you can charge it up to shoot faster and also shoot further. Her first ability is called Snow Globe, where you can deploy a globe on the floor, which will actually slow incoming rockets, making them easier to dodge. But not only that, any charge bolt shots that are shot from inside of the globe are going to travel faster and also hit harder as well. And her second ability is called Grapple Hook, where she can grapple to nearby surfaces or damage enemies by hitting them directly. Up next, we have Blastbeard, who I think is going to be very popular in the game because he's a pirate. His primary weapon is called Rocket Cannonball, where he will fire out a cannonball which will arch, but if it hits, it does a lot of damage. His first ability is called Charged Anchor, where he will charge and fire a hard-hitting anchor rocket. And his second ability is called Shockwave, which will knock by nearby opponents and also destroy incoming rockets. That second ability is very effective, especially if you're close to being knocked out of the arena or if you have multiple people attacking you at once. The next character we're going to be taking a look at is Mystine, who's sort of like a magician slash sorceress in the game. Her primary weapon actually allows her to turn playing cards into rockets that actually attack in a 3-round burst. Her first ability is called Mirror Shield, where she can actually conjure a shield to block incoming rockets in front of her. Keep in mind that the shield is only in front of you, so you can still hit Mystine from behind. And her second ability is called Phantasm, where she will actually make a Mystine double appear on the battlefield. It will run around, shoot the enemies, and then if you use the ability again, you can actually swap places, so wherever the double was, is where you will teleport to. The eighth character we're going to be taking a look at is Top Notch, and one unique thing about this character, which the other characters don't have, is that Top Notch has a jetpack on his back. So whereas every other character can jump 3 times, Top Notch, if you hold the jump button down, he's going to be able to fly with his jetpack for a short period of time. His primary weapon is called Bouncing Beauty, where he can fire out a bouncing grenade. If you hold the fire button down though, you can actually delay how long the detonation is of the bouncing grenade. His first ability is called Zephyr Strike, where you can lock onto an enemy target and initiate a giant rocket strike. And his second ability is called Artillery Salute, where you can call down a cascading artillery line. This guy definitely sends out a lot of rockets. Next up, we have Boone, which is sort of like the sniping character in Rocket Arena. He's a massive fan of prehistoric creatures, hence his winged pal Zik that he has on his shoulder. Now, Boone only really has one ability, but he does have 2 different ways to attack with his primary weapon. If you just press the fire button, you can fire out ricochet, short-ranged cluster shots, making your bullets spread a little bit more, kind of a little bit like a shotgun. However, you can also zoom in with this weapon to make it a sniper rocket, therefore being a lot more accurate and dealing more damage. And then the ability that he has is called Zik's Vortex, where you will fire a wind vortex that blasts Boone backwards, but it also pushes the opponents forwards with tremendous force. And the 10th and final character we're taking a look at today is Rev, who is once again another character that has an ability that allows her to have a lot of mobility, so that's going to be very useful in game modes like Rocket Ball. Her primary weapon is called Double Whammy, where she will fire rapid-fire explosive projectiles alternating between the weapon's twin barrels. These rockets don't deal a lot of damage, but because they are rapid-fire, you can pull off a lot of damage if you are very accurate. Her first ability is called Mag Mines, where you can lob mines that attach to any surface or foe, and then of course they do explode and can damage your opponents. And her second ability is called Shatter Slam, where you can activate her Shatterboard, which she flies around on. You can fly with it, but you can also kick opponents with your attack as well if you press the ability again, therefore dealing damage, potentially being able to knock them out of the arena as well. So that's all of the characters that are going to be coming to the game at launch. Let's move over to the maps. So there's going to be 10 maps coming to the game at launch as well. Each one of these looks very unique and very different from the others. The 10 maps that we have are Apogee Acres, Frostwind Grove, the Golden Zephyr, Hypersonic Heights, Icefall Keep, Megadon Junction, Shimmering Depths, Star of Crater, Stompy's Refuge, and Temples of Jaqua. Some of these maps have unique events which only happen on that specific map. For example, Megadon Junction also has a train which passes through the map as well, and Shimmering Depths has underwater geysers that will blast water vertically, allowing you to have a boost into the sky. From your initial impression, let me know which one you think of these maps is going to be your favorite. So now let's take a look at all of the game modes which are coming to the game as well. Keep in mind these game modes are 3 versus 3, so some of these game modes will require more teamwork than others. So first off, we have Knockouts, which is one of the competitive modes in the game, and this is sort of like your team deathmatch. The objective of this game is to simply blast your opponents out of the arena, and the first team that reaches the target score is the winner. Next up, we have Rocket Ball, which is personally my favorite game mode that I've played in the game. The objective of this game mode is to pick up a rocket ball which spawns in the center of the map and throw it through the opposite team's goal. Now, at the same time, they're going to be trying to do the same thing to you as well, so you have to balance between your team, who's going to be going offensive to try and score, and who's going to try and stay and defend your goal as well, in case the opposite team picks up the ball and tries to score themselves. Whoever reaches 5 goals first, or has the most goals until the time runs out, is the winner. The next game mode is called Treasure Hunt. At the start of the match, a treasure chest is going to spawn in the center of the map. Both you and the opponents can try and pick this treasure chest up to start earning coins. Now, when one team is holding this chest, they are going to earn coins until a time limit runs out. Whoever has the chest when the time limit runs out does get a bonus boost of coins. But once that first time limit runs out, you're going to then see coins appear all over the map. And you want to run around and try and collect as many of these as you can. You can definitely earn more coins from the second phase of the game mode. However, once the coins have disappeared around the map, the treasure chest will spawn once again. And this continues until the time runs out, or whoever reaches 250 coins first is the winner. And the final multiplayer game mode we have is called Mega Rocket, where a Mega Rocket is going to come flying into the arena, blasting all players in that zone out of the way. Once it has landed, a capture zone will appear, and the goal of Mega Rockets is to try and capture as many objectives as you can. So of course, once the rocket has landed, both teams are going to be fighting over taking control of this objective. The winner is dependent on who has the most captures when the time runs out, or whoever reaches the cap limit first. There's also a cooperative mode in the game as well called RocketBot Attack, where you and a few friends can team up to try and defeat rocket bots. You want to try and knock out all of the rocket bots before the time limit runs out. I would say this is more of like a training session or practice session. However, it does add a little bit of PvE style to the game, so it's definitely something you want to check out if you are new to the game. On top of that, you also have private matches or custom games where you can choose the mode and the map, and you can either play against bots or invite up to 5 other friends to be able to play against each other. So now let's take a look at artifacts which are like your perk system in Rocket Arena. You have 3 different slots where you can equip artifacts, and each slot has its own unique artifacts. Slot 1 has 8 artifacts, and slot 2 and 3 have 7 artifacts each, making the game have a total of 22 artifacts at launch. These are randomly unlocked as you play the game, but you can also level them up, and it's the way you combine these artifacts which can make you a much better player. Every artifact you unlock starts at level 1, but the more you use it, the higher you can level it up. It starts at level 1 and you can progress it to level 2 and then finally level 3, making that artifact more powerful. These artifacts can vary from giving you more movement speed when you're on the ground, to increasing your damage for a few seconds every time you do KO a player. So it's the way you combine these artifacts together with certain characters that can make you stand out from your opponents. For example, Rev is a character that typically moves around the map quite a lot and is very much based around objectives, so maybe you'll want to use an artifact on Rev that increases her movement speed, whereas a character like Boone, which is sort of a sniper, you're not going to be moving as much, so you may benefit from using other artifacts instead. There are so many different combinations that you can combine with all of these artifacts, and of course, as you level them up, they will become more powerful. So make sure you're mixing and matching to find what works best for you on each character. And finally, for those competitive players, let's take a look at the ranked mode, which is coming to the game on July 28th. However, I do want to let you know that there's going to be a pre-season starting at launch, where you can practice, get used to all of the artifacts and things like that. So at the beginning of every season, all players will start at rank 1, and as you play, you can progress through your rank and therefore play against more difficult players. As you win more games, the more your rank will increase. However, if you start losing games as you go against more difficult players, you're going to start losing ranks as well. Now, one way to make ranked fair for everybody is that all artifacts are going to be unlocked, and they're also going to be level 3. So everybody is on a single playing field. There's no advantage for playing the game for longer. Everyone is on exactly the same playing field. It's just simply jumping in, ranking up to see how far you can get at the end of the season. And as you progress further, you're going to go against more difficult players. Another thing that differentiates ranked from your casual playlist is with the items, which are in-game objects that can be picked up and used during the match. So in the casual game mode, you could collect an item crate and you could collect a bomb or a trip mine, and you don't know what it is until you collect it. In ranked mode, items are going to be unique to one specific location. So if on one side of the map there is an item that spawns and you see that it's a bomb, every time you go back, that item will always be the bomb. And the same goes for the other items that will spawn around the map as well. That keeps the game consistent. It doesn't give someone a little bit of chance over luck of whether or not they're going to get a good item or not a good item. They're going to have to try and go for that specific item where it spawns on the map to be able to try and collect it. They're also only going to be using the game modes Knockout, Rocket Ball, and Mega Rocket, so they aren't going to be using Treasure Chest in ranked mode. And you will be pleased to know that there is going to be a penalty for those people that quit the game as well. It will count a loss for those players, and they will receive a penalty. So hopefully you're not going to see too many people leaving the game if you are playing the ranked mode. But there we go. I know it was a long video, but hopefully you guys did enjoy it nonetheless, and are excited for Rocket Arena coming tomorrow, July the 14th. I'm definitely going to be playing this a lot. I cannot wait to jump back into it and play it. So thank you so much for watching today's video. If you did enjoy it, make sure you do drop a like down below. Subscribe if you are new to the channel, and I'll catch you all in another video.